Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Echo Means Business live show. I'll be your host for tonight's episode, and for the next 30 minutes or so, we'll be talking about how to prepare for the Equip EXPO. Joining me tonight is a fellow user advisory group member, Mike Arch, and I'm your host, Jason Troy. As I mentioned, this evening's topic is how to prep for the Equip EXPO. Mike, how many years have you attended?
So I've been there 2 years now. This will be my third year coming up. And so I've had a very unorthodox way of seeing the expo. I typically don't stay in a hotel room. These last 2 years, I've stayed in a tent.
Well, that's interesting. Do a lot of people go down there and camp then?
Not that I'm aware of. I know they keep the parking lot open. You usually have to have some kind of trailer or something to stay in if you do that. But I was staying at a local campground, the KOA in Shepherdsville. And so I just needed to figure out a cheap way to stay there. So I figured, why not go camping?
Sure. And you said you do that every year, or is this your first year going to do
Well,
that?
this year's a little bit different. I'll be in the same place, but I actually have a camper now, so it'll be a little bit warmer.
Cool. Yeah, this is my 5th year going down there, and I always stay in a hotel. I've always waited till the last minute usually to book a hotel, and I've always been burned. This year I'm actually more than prepared. I actually booked one in early, I want to say around April or May. And so, yeah, I mean, one has to be on top of that for sure if you're going to go down there and attend it. Every year it seems like it gets busier and busier.
Yeah, they just keep expanding every single year, and it's really amazing because they actually have managed to keep the pricing down year over year too. You go to conventions like this, they're usually a whole lot more expensive than what we're typically paying, especially if you got the early bird pricing on it. So it kind of amazes me. So what are some of the things that we need to do to prepare for this, do you think, besides get your hotel room?
Well, one, I think the most important is make sure you have your room and board set up and ready to go. Second, I would advise people to take advantage of the early bird ticket prices. I think I spent $25 on mine in years previous, and I think one year I signed the year it went from GIE switched over to Expo, the Equip EXPO. I signed up and got a free admission before I left the GIE that year. After that, just if people want to fly, make sure you book your airfare way in advance too, because I've noticed too that the closer you get to the mid-October dates, that everything gets more expensive.
Oh, it definitely does. Yeah. The closer longer you wait, the more expensive it'll get because the fuller things get. I mean, this is the second largest event that Louisville puts on a year after the Kentucky Derby, which is kind of one of the exciting things this year is we'll actually get to Churchill Downs. And if you stop by the Tuesday night, you can go to the reception, and it's over at Churchill Downs. And I'm actually anxious to see that because I've never been to Churchill Downs before. So
yeah, so you bring up a good point. So when you make your plans, do you plan on going the whole week, going down that first Tuesday night to the welcoming, I guess, party, I would say? I mean, the years past, it's been down there at the Louisville Slugger baseball diamond. Is that what you do? Stay the whole week?
Yeah, I usually go down on Tuesday. I leave Tuesday morning, get there in time for Tuesday evening, and then I'll be there, and I'll leave sometime Friday afternoon after stopping by the expo. I find Friday to be one of the better days because everybody's hitting the road early, and you can actually talk to people and see people and that kind of thing because there's just a lot fewer people at the expo on Fridays.
Sure, I agree with you on that too. Typically, I like to drive. I live in Iowa. It's about a 7.5-hour drive. But I do that for 2 reasons. Just because, one, I like to just take my time and get there and stop on the way, stop anywhere I need to or whatnot. And second, I always find myself leaving the show with something. whether it's a square barrel or it's a piece of equipment or lots of expo swag. You know, I'm always leaving with something, and it's always easier for me just to take that.
I mean, yeah, it's one of the big things I like to do when I'm on the showroom floor. I always like to bring an extra. I always like to bring a backpack with me, and I actually started packing my backpack, believe it or not, for the showroom floor for Equip. So, I mean, I can show you some of the things we got in it. Honestly, you don't need a huge backpack. Some people will actually bring a backpack like this. They're like they're getting ready to hike the Appalachian Trail. I don't think you need something quite that large. They got free ones you can get there, but usually the straps are just cord and they get uncomfortable. So I usually recommend something with a fat strap on it. And I usually have a lot of camera equipment with me too, so that helps. But what's going to happen is you're gonna probably want to bring something like a jacket or rain gear or something like that. It's again, you can check the weather. If it's going to be good, you can probably leave the rain jacket at home, but you just want to make sure you have it with you before you leave the house, so to speak. That's my case of camera equipment. So, and then it's nice just to have a lot of extra space in your bag, because what's going to happen is that little bag that you're carrying around is going to fill up. You can take stuff, shove it into your backpack. You don't have to run out to the truck and get rid of it or anything like that. And that is basically, you know, one of the main key things I find out about that's really nice about having a backpack is because that bag that you carry around is you're going to fill up. One of the tricks and tips I've figured out is you pick up the catalogs and the paper last. That's going to be the heaviest thing you have to carry. So when you go there, you don't have to get the catalog right away. Wait till the end of the day to get catalogs and things like that, and pick up those paper products. And as we have a question in, what's the best booth to visit? Well, that would be the Echo Means Business Social Media Lounge would be the best booth to visit.
Yeah, and
wouldn't you agree, Troy?
I agree. That's one of the first places. Let's move on with topics here. It's like, once you get into the building, what is the first thing that you do? I know this year Echo's booth number is number 900. So make sure you stop by that if you're attending. And then also, you know, what you mentioned, the Echo Means Business Social Media Lounge. That's where people can go and hang out and just have a good time. And, you know, I always leave that place feeling better and more happier. So.
Yeah, usually have some kind of snacks or something else available there. And as somebody's making a comment, make sure to look on the map to know exactly where you're going beforehand. I just got an email from Equip, I believe today, about downloading the app to your phone. That thing is very helpful, especially if you're able to get a GPS signal inside of the building, because you can pull up the map of the actual convention, and it'll show you where you are on the map, so that you can actually figure out and navigate if you wanted to go to this booth or that booth or something like that, or go to a booth that you're nearby that may be on your list. And you can actually make lists and everything of the booths that you want to visit. So it's a really good planning tool just to download the Equip app. And like I said, if you're able to get that GPS signal in the building, which I was last year, it really helps to help you navigate and figure out exactly where you are. Because this place is, if you haven't been there before, everything's huge, and it keeps getting bigger. So
yeah, I like that app too, because it actually gives you the direction you face. It has a little arrow. I don't know if you just mentioned that or not. And it tells you which direction you're going, because like you said, you know, the place is so big, and every year it's getting bigger and bigger. And every year I also explore new areas. I'm like, well, I didn't know this was here. And, you know, that GPS thing, the map on there really helps out with exploring everything.
It does. At least will tell you where all the aisles are and everything else, so you can, you know, really pinpoint. Sometimes it can get, especially if you're in the hardscapes area, some of those aisles can kind of get a little wonky at times. As they can be a little bit hard to navigate, and things start looking the same as you're walking down as well. So it does help you figure out exactly where you are in the convention center. and as well as the outdoor part of the convention center as well.
When you get in, do you have like a favorite area within the expo that you like to visit most? I know you have the main core area that has, Toro, Echo, John Deere, all those. And then I know you have the hardscapes area. And then you have, I like to call it, anyone and everybody that has an idea and they've developed a product and brought it to reality. I like visiting those areas the best, or I enjoy that the most, because those are the little things that you could buy, whether it's a new and improved trimmer head, or to software of any sort, like yard book, things like that. That's probably how they started there too, is showing off at the Equip Expo.
Yeah, and that's one of the places I try to seek out those companies I've never heard of or look like they're brand new, and trying to see what kind of products that they offer. They usually have some pretty neat ones. I think a lot of people have caught on to that, because there were a lot of smaller companies last year that I was familiar that I actually was familiar with, because I've seen them at other conventions or other places, and I wanted to stop by their booth, but every time they went there was like huge packs of people, and these are people who I've kind of developed a relationship with. So I actually wanted to talk to them, but at the same time I didn't want to bug them, because they're selling their products. And one of them was Power Planter, because they're a local company to me, or somewhat local, and I've seen them at other conventions and just wanted to stop by, say hi. But they were constantly busy every single time I went by there. So apparently a lot of people like to go to those smaller booths. One of the benefits is you get to the larger booths, you get to see some of the new equipment that may or may not catch on fire later. That's a joke if you've been to the expo before. They have one of the new mowers from was it DeWalt?
It was DeWalt, the one that transformed, where you could go from a sit-down mower to a stand-on mower.
Yeah, they had it in the demo yard, and it wasn't quite ready.
It was the battery-operated one too.
Yeah.
Go figure, right?
Yeah, and they decided to demo it, and it didn't age well.
Yet. It hasn't been back since. So, when you go there, do you visit the outdoor booth? I mean, that's one of my favorite things to do too, is being able to go outside and demo all this stuff. And my first time being down there, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. You get to go drive some lawnmowers and things like that. But no, there's actually a lot more. You could go and test drive all the Bobcat equipment per se. I don't know if Caterpillar's down there at all, but I know John Deere's got all their big equipment down there, and that's always fun.
Cat had an excavator last year, a small excavator. Bobcat, I think, had a battery powered skid steer. And yeah, you can like demo all of this stuff. I was demoing Steele's lawnmower last year, and then I went over to Briggs and Stratton and demoed the Ferris mower. They got all of this stuff. Echo has their outdoor booth. I got to check out the new battery backpack blower last year. I'm pretty sure they're going to have. We just got to see all of the new equipment that Echo's having to offer. They got a lot more backpack blowers. I'm sure they're going to have all of that out in the demo yard, so you can go check it out. They've got a lawnmower, a new lawnmower. It's a push mower, but it's a gas powered push mower, so I'm sure they'll have that out there. They just got a lot of things happening. One of the things Echo's doing is as far as the t-shirts and the hats and things like that, I did talk to Echo and I was able to confirm this, that they are going to have hats in the outdoor booth and they're going to have t-shirts in the indoor booth. So you'll have to go around the booth and do a little activity. And then at the end, you get everything signed off and you take it in, and they'll give you your t-shirt in the indoor booth, or in the outdoor booth, you'll get it back and you'll be able to get a hat. So those will be available. They're also doing other giveaways. I know in the EMB, they're giving away one of the pink blowers. So they're going to be raffling one of those off. So there's just a lot of things to do, a lot of raffles, a lot of opportunity to win stuff over there too. It's not just Echo, but a lot of the other manufacturers do that as well.
Yeah. So do you find with all the giveaways and things like that, like you said, you stay till Friday. I know I do the same thing and stay till about 11, 12 o'clock. And I've always thought about which day is best to go? Do you go on Wednesday? Do you go on when? I think Wednesday doesn't. It's half day. I can't remember when it starts. If it starts right at 10, if the doors open at noon. Um, but I always found Thursday to be the best day, just because I give my Wednesday's always the first time I go in there, kind of look around, just get the lay of the land, and then Thursday when I come back, that's when I get more focused and start paying attention to more things. Do you have a favorite day?
So I think that if you got one day to go, Thursday is probably the best day if you're going to pick that particular day. It's the longest day of all of them. They start kind of late on Wednesday and they close kind of early on Friday. But as far as if you're not interested in the outdoor booth at all, because I don't believe it's open on Fridays, but if you're not interested in the outdoor booth, Friday for the showroom floor is definitely the best day to go because you'll be dealing with the least amount of crowds. Now, people are anticipating leaving and things like that, but that's going to be your best shot of being able to talk to reps and things like that is on Friday. And I believe they only go until like noon or something on Friday. But yeah, if you're able to just stop in and, visit those booths that you really wanted to talk to somebody about, maybe not had a chance to, Friday is definitely the best day to go for that. And then you can go hit the road once you get done with your business. But if you're going in only one day, Thursday is probably the best day to go. That's when you're going to have your most amount of time, and that's when you're going to everything's going to be open. That's the key day.
Sure. One of the questions was, what do we think that will be the talk of the show this year? It's always hard to tell, what's going to be the talk of the show. Like I'm trying to think of back last year, what the talk of the show was. And for some reason, I thought last year, I don't know, it didn't seem as busy, but two, it just didn't have that big splash of a machine. Or
No, the last year I think the big talk of the show was Third Eye Blind and how they didn't do all that great of a performance.
Yeah, but I'm talking about equipment wise though. Like,
But
is Toro going to come out with something cool, or
probably
John Deere, or things like that is what I'm saying.
Well, the biggest thing that I think the biggest talk out of last year was something I totally blew off last year because I didn't know it was coming. And Ego did a really poor job. I mean, I guess they hit up their homeowner unit guys, their social media homeowner guys that were all in there, but the pro guys weren't there because they never connected with them. They came up with a whole pro line last year, and I didn't find out about it until after I walked out of Equip and was at home and scrolling through YouTube because I never bothered to stop by the Ego booth because there really was never much there that I was interested in because I'm more interested in the pro lines. Well, if I would have known that, I would have stopped by the Ego booth. That I think was probably the biggest talk, and I totally missed it while I was at the expo.
Yeah, sometimes the Equip Expo is more geared toward the pro. I mean, it's not open to the public. So I am kind of baffled sometimes when I see companies putting equipment out there dedicated for the homeowner. I get it. We're all homeowners ourselves, but we're pros in the real world. And that's the kind of equipment we want to see.
Well, and a lot of the pros that are first starting off too, they end up leaning on that homeowner equipment. It's which you can get cheap on, marketplace or even from your local hardware store that you're going to get just to start off your business. And it's not necessarily bad, and not all of the homeowner stuff doesn't mean it can't equate into a pro use thing. I mean, but the big item that I think is going to be talked about most at Equip that you're going to see the most of are new push mowers. And this is something I know Echo is coming out with one. Particularly, they're going to be gas-powered push mowers. And the reason why is because with Honda leaving the industry, everybody's going to be buying for that spot on the shelf. So I think Echo, who's bringing one out, you're going to see that. And I think a lot of other companies are going to have new innovative designs for your little 21, 22-inch push mowers. And a lot of these are going to be homeowner units, but that's also one of those things that as a pro, you don't really buy a pro push mower typically. You buy a homeowner unit for which you need. You just try to find a robust one. And that was one of the reasons why the Hondas were so popular was because they were very robust push mowers. But yeah, I think that's going to be one of the big things that you're going to see at the expo this year is going to be push mowers with Honda leaving the industry on that and having all those spots in the shelves. There's going to be a lot of companies wanting to fill those spots with their products.
Sure. All right, let's change the script a little bit here. So it's not always equipment at Equip, right? It's not always, there's actually educational courses that one can take there. I've always made it a point, or I guess I've always had the idea that, hey, I'm going to sign up for some classes, try to better myself in the industry and get more knowledgeable. This year, I finally did that. Some courses are free. I wrote down what I had here. So I'm going to attend some landscape lighting classes. I offer that service now, but it just really hasn't taken off. But I want to know more about it and become better at when those opportunities do come. So I did sign up for some landscape lighting classes, and then I also paid for. I like to do my own maintenance on my mowers, but I'm a little bit hesitant when it comes to like the hydro gears. So I signed up for a hydro gear course to help me learn better, to be better at that stuff and doing my own maintenance. So I'm not taking it to the shop all the time and having to rely on them to do my work. Do you ever sign up for any courses, or do you attend any of the seminars?
I will actually look at some of the free courses. One of the things that I could recommend definitely, and some of these things may sound very weird and oddball when you come up to the keynote speakers. Some of them like, how does this fit into what we're talking about? But then when you actually get into what they're talking about, it's just really fascinating and interesting. And just the life lessons that you can learn from these people. Like last year, they had somebody who hiked to the South Pole. I mean, what does that have to do with? I mean, maybe if you're doing snow removal, I guess, but we're talking lawn and landscape here. But yeah, it's just about just some of the things about sticking through things, enduring things, and his I guess process, his whole. Well, no, it was really interesting, but it was just really kind of eye-opening to what you are doing in your own everyday life as well. There's lessons to be learned in there, and they always bring some really interesting speakers in there. So even if it seems like, hey, you know what, I don't think that'll be something I'm interested in, I would recommend going to like the keynote speaker because chances are you're probably going to enjoy it.
Sure. There's a show, back to, we say, I think Thursday is the best day. There's an early morning Thursday show called The Morning Show. If people don't know who Naylor is and Paul Jameson and Caleb, they have a great show. They always have amazing guests on there. And I love attending that show. I always feel more motivated, more excited, and just ready to get back to it just because of that show. Have you ever attended that show?
I attended that show the first year I was there. I stood in the back because they ran out of chairs. It's a very well attended show. It's a very good show. The second year I kind of slept in a little bit. The reason why is because what I like to do is I like to go out Wednesday, get video from the expo, and then get everything edited and post that video up so it's there Thursday for people who aren't at the expo, so they can go ahead and see that, get that information, see that right away. I just find out that people really enjoy it. It kind of helps them feel like they're in the middle of it, even though they're at home having to mow lawns or do whatever it is that they're doing. So I was up late the night before editing videos, and I just decided to sleep in the following day. But yeah, that is a very well attended show, and it's actually a really good show.
And they always have food too for you: donuts, coffee, all
yes,
you
they
can
do
eat for the most part.
Yeah.
I always get there early. I just really enjoy that show, and I always get there early and sit up front. And every year, man, that place is, the first time I attended that, I think it might have been the first year that they hosted it. And there was, there were some people there, but even last year, I mean, that place was packed. It was a cool atmosphere.
Yeah, and I mean, there's all kinds of fun stuff. If nothing else, even if you're not looking for a dog, it's always fun to go over to the shelter area. Yeah, right. The Mutt Madness and cuddle a puppy. It's always fun to do that, even if you're not gonna bring one home. I like to always cuddle puppies. So.
Yep. We have some other members of the UAG program J&J Properties, it seems like every year they're leaving with 5 puppies, and I think they have like 15, 20 dogs or something like that at their house. Are they online? They can comment on that.
Yeah, we went last year, and we almost came home with a dog.
Yeah, super easy to do. What do you do for food when you're there? I've done it differently every time because I drive myself. I always bring a cooler. Um, so, I've struggled sometimes to find lunch there. I mean, I know they have the food court. Last year was pretty cool because they had all the food trucks outside versus inside. So access to food was a lot easier. Where in years past too, it was all down by that Mutt Madness in the arena area. And the lines were just atrocious, and you waited, super, super long just to get some food. So this year and last year I started it, and this year I'm gonna do the same. I always pack some sandwiches and stuff, so I just walk out to the car, take a break from everything, and enjoy a little downtime, and then go back in.
Yeah, I usually pack a few snacks and things like that, which allows me to retain myself for a lunch a little bit later, as opposed to typical lunchtime. And then your lines are a lot shorter at the food vendors. After last year, I did deal with one of the taco trucks, and I was a bit disappointed in what I was offered, I guess you could say, at the taco truck, as well as the line I had to wait for in the rain because it was outside. So that's one of the downfalls of having them outside. And so I think this year I'm probably going to bring a cooler and just pack a lunch. And then I can come out in the afternoon, eat my lunch, drop off all the goodies that I've collected, and come back in, start anew, so to speak, and hit up everything. So I think probably one of the key things is if you're driving in there is to be able to utilize your vehicle at some point in time during the day, being able to get back out to your vehicle to, either, like I said, have a lunch over there ready for you, put some things in there so that you can, have empty hands and bags and things like that.
Yeah,
Might be a good thing.
Yeah, not to interrupt. I think there's a program. I don't know. You can pay for it through the app, through the Equip EXPO website, where you can order and have your lunch pre-made for you and delivered to maybe a booth or something, like, say, if you're at the Echo at the social media lounge, that they'll bring it there. I'm not. I don't remember what the cost of that is or what that food entails. But I think it's, like a sandwich, a fruit, cookie, and a drink or something like that. That's another option too. Go ahead. You gonna say something?
One of the other things too you might be able to pull off is a lot of the vendors actually offer food. So if you're lucky enough to be, because sometimes they'll hand out tickets or something like that. If you're fortunate enough to get one of those tickets to their food, you can actually have because usually they'll give you a ticket when you first start, and then, or you have to go to XYZ booth and get your ticket. And then if you're fortunate enough, you can actually have one of the vendors pay for your lunch for you. So that's one of the benefits too. If you can manage to do that, sometimes if you're paying a huge amount of money, I mean, you might have to pay for one meal or something, but with all the events that go on during Equip, if you're paying for all of your meals, you're probably not looking around very well for, about all the extra events and things like that are coming along with the Equip Expo.
Sure. And everybody that follows, I'm a homeowner, lawn enthusiast too. So I connect with different companies that are maybe less of the professional industry, I guess, like Simple Lawn Solutions, Turf Titan, and things like that, where I'll connect with them and attend their after party shows too. And then a lot of times they have food too. So if you're a home lawn enthusiast, I know Vince, the lawn engineer, he's kind of the same character I am, and can relate to, over the social media. They'll have sign up, say, hey, we're getting together at Top Golf on Wednesday night or Thursday night or whatnot. And then there's, after parties for that. Do you attend any of the after party shows, like the concerts or anything like that?
I usually, I'll attend some of the concerts. A lot of the concerts, like I said, you're not going to have food available at the concert series. They do typically have some pretty, say they're hors d'oeuvres, but if you really wanted to make a meal out of the welcome reception, you can. What else? I mean, I usually attend the rally every year. Since I've been there, that's a big social media event.
Yeah, that's a good one to attend too. Yep, I've done that a couple times.
And they usually, like I said, they usually have food, and you got to buy your own drinks, but they got food.
It's worth it just to network with everybody else there too. You'd be surprised who you see there, and if you follow people on YouTube and Instagram or TikTok, it's cool to meet those people.
It is. It's very cool. I mean, I remember sitting down having a conversation with Corey Ballard over at the rally, and he's as interesting as you might think he is.
Yeah, Ballard's in my state of Iowa, and I've noticed before they used to just stick to the Des Moines area, and I see he's starting to get into my area a little bit. But they do good. They do good work, and he's doing a good thing over there for sure. All right.
But yeah,
go ahead.
Probably one of the big things that I know that we need to do and probably should talk about. Hey, my camera moves with me. You probably want to figure out some way to stay hydrated. And one of the things that I like to do, I like to bring a water bottle that has a filter in it, only because the water can be a little bit different. If you're not used to the taste of the local water, this will help take the taste out and that kind of thing, having a filter. But just having a water bottle, something that you can take to a drinking fountain and fill up, is very important, because if you're buying bottled water, you're going to spend a lot of money on water. The other thing you might want to consider is maybe bringing your own coffee cup, because there will be a lot of booths over there that will have coffee service that you can go ahead and they'll have little styrofoam cups for you. But if you bring your own mug, you can get more coffee.
Sure. With that being said, I think you don't we have a little giveaway to give tonight away?
Yes, we do. It's not this coffee mug, but we actually have an Echo branded Yeti coffee mug that we are going to be giving away. And it's going to go to the first person in the chats that are able to answer our trivia question.
Non-UAG members, please.
Yes, only non-UAG members can win.
Are there any? Raise your hand.
And the question is, what year was Echo established?
If there's any non-members in the chat, you can go ahead and Google that, or if you have an Echo hat, I think all the Echo hats has the date printed on the hat, and you can win one of those coffee mugs. If not, we're super popular. So when you're there, Equip, do you have a favorite booth, like equipment booth? Well, I guess I shouldn't say that. I should say, which giveaways do you like to sign up for? I know Grasshopper had a cool one last year. Bobcat always has a cool giveaway every year. And the Hustler, they gave away a whole trailer, a fully equipped trailer, I think a couple mowers and racks and everything. And that was pretty cool raffle prize.
So I typically don't get too much into the raffles because my luck is usually pretty bad. So I will actually do enter a few of the raffles that you're usually the Equip, the ones that you get on your badge. I'll enter all of those, and go around and take care of those. Last year I did actually purchase tickets. So last year with Echo, if you went to the outdoor booth, there was a organization selling that does breast cancer research that was selling tickets to win the pink Echo blowers, and I bought some tickets from them, and I actually won that raffle. So I got a pink blower last year from that particular raffle. However, one thing that Echo's doing this year is they're selling the pink blowers. So there is going to be an opportunity to get a giveaway for a pink blower, but they're going to be selling the pink blowers in October. So if you want to purchase one of those, you can. And what they're doing is taking a part of the sale, and they're donating the proceeds for cancer research.
Yeah,
so breast cancer research.
Yeah, that's a good cause for sure. And for those who haven't used that Echo handheld blower, it's quite the blower. I posted a video today on it, and I was really impressed. That was actually my first time using that blower, and I probably will be using it a lot more after today, for sure.
Yeah, I keep it on my trailer. That's my go-to blower for everything. I'm
Do you
not
keep the pink one on there, or?
the pink. Yeah, I keep the pink one on there.
Yeah,
That's
that's
my
nice, dude.
that's
Nice.
my go-to blower for everything. I don't like backpack blowers, so
Sure.
and since I went into the Echo Weed Whips, it's nice having one battery for all my battery systems. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. All right, we're gonna give it one last chance to for anybody that's a non-UAG member to try to win that Yeti coffee mug. So what year was Echo founded? We'll also ask another question. Maybe you're listening if you've been on the show the whole time. Here's another question you can answer too. Which booth number would you find Echo at? What's their booth number this year? We mentioned it earlier in the show. So if you're a non-UAG member and have the answers to either one of those, you can win a coffee mug, a Yeti coffee mug. Going once, going twice. Nobody wants to win? Okay, that's fine. Mike, thanks for calling in and joining the show with me tonight. It was
All
fun
right.
talking about how to prepare for the Equip Expo. I'll see you this year. The dates for the Equip Expo this year, obviously it's down in Louisville, Kentucky. I don't know if we mentioned that. It's October 15th through the 18th. And the welcoming party is on Tuesday, that first Tuesday night there. And that's at Churchill Downs, which if you've never been there, that place is amazing. Super cool.
Okay. So dealing with the trivia, first person, I guess, that can type in 1972 wins. So you might want to hurry up and do that.
You're so
Or
funny.
900, whichever is easier. Go for it. Come on.
Well, we could just carry that giveaway over to another night too.
I guess so.
All right.
No,
Again, Mike,
nobody wants a free mug.
I'd
They're
love
nice.
those. Hey, there's one right there. What do we got there? JL Services LLC, 1972. What do they have to do to claim that, Mike?
That's a good question.
Direct message. The Echo Means Business via TikTok,
Instagram.
Instagram. All right.
Instagram. Yeah.
Instagram. Direct message EMB. Echo Means Business. So it's JL Services LLC 1972.
Yeah. Send your mailing address,
and they'll mail it out to you.
Make sure you send your mailing address, and they can mail that out to you.
Yep. Awesome. All right. Thanks everybody for joining us tonight. We're going to wrap this up. See everybody at the Equip Expo in Louisville, Kentucky in mid-October.